What is up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. This is OCD Movie Reviews. My name is On The Brinker, and today I'm going to review the latest animated film from Illumination, and that film is Minions and Monsters. This movie is the first standalone movie in this trilogy, and also this is the 7th Despicable Me film, and this movie is directed and stars Pierre, Coffin, who of course voiced the Minions, alongside with Jesse Eisenberg, Zoey, Deutch, Christoph, Waltz, Jeff Bridges, and Trey Parker. This movie follows the Minions in 1920s Hollywood as they search for frightening creatures for their monster movie, partner with a green creature and must save the planet after unleashing monsters. So we have the third Minions standalone film, and we're in the 7th film in the Despicable Me franchise, and I was not pumped for this movie, to be honest with you. Now, when it comes to the Despicable Me franchise, I really enjoyed the first two movies. I think the first movie is very charming, a lot of fun. I think the second one is probably the funniest one that I have seen in this series. I really enjoyed the first two movies. The third movie, and especially the fourth movie, that is when I feel like this franchise is going really down for me and make me think, okay, I'm just tired of this franchise. I am tired of the Minions all so much. And it also doesn't help with the Minions standalone films as well. I thought the first Minions movie was not that great of a film. Rise of Gru, although I enjoyed it for what it was, it is pretty forgettable in my opinion. I actually haven't seen that film since it came out, so yeah, completely forgot about that film. So now when I heard they're doing a third Minions standalone movie and it's called Minions and Monsters, I'm just like, okay, like with Toy Story 5, my expectation going on feel like, okay, this is going to feel like a cash grab. The only thing that I was interested going into this film is that this film takes place in 1920s Hollywood. I'm like, okay, Minions in that period? That could be very interesting, but I still have low faith in the movie because I was getting tired of the Minions at this point. So I went into this movie expecting myself to really not like this movie, really hating the film, and oh my gosh, guys, I was gently surprised walking out of this film. I actually had a total blast with Minions and Monsters, and this is definitely one of the surprises of the year. I think this is easily one of the better Minions films that I've seen in a while, and this movie made me like the Minions again since I would say Despicable Me 2. Of course, the Minions themselves are the most popular things in anime movie culture, but I slowly discard with the Minions after, I would say, the first Minions movie and Despicable Me 3. But you know what? This movie actually made me like the Minions again because they actually do have a purpose in this movie. And I would definitely say my biggest positive when it comes to Minions and Monsters is the setting of this film. This film sets in 1920s Hollywood where filmmaking and films come to life, and it's one of those things where films is kind of becoming a big thing back in the day. So tackling on the subject with the Minions in the movie, I feel like it makes so much sense when it comes to the humor of the film. Because this is at a time where silent filmmaking comes into play, and there's a lot of slapstick silent filmmaking back at the time. So with the Minions in that time period, I think it makes so much sense, and I feel like that is a really interesting story to tell with the Minions. And I also like the three main leads in this film, James, Henry, and Ed in this film. You really root for these characters because all three of them have a passion for filmmaking in this film, especially James in this film, who is the main lead of the film. This Minion loves telling stories and slowly discovers the world of film, and he absolutely is passionate throughout it, and I love seeing that throughout this film because I remember starting to love movies as a kid, and I just felt like being a kid again after seeing James really excited of this world of filmmaking being. So you root for them three to make their own monster movie in that time period where the Minions were becoming stars in silent film, but then when sound comes into play and their mumble jumbles, they kind of got out of Hollywood a bit, so it's really cool to see these Minions having their passion of saying, you know what, let's make our own movie, let's make our own monster movie, and you follow their journey along throughout the film. Also, the rest of the voice casting in the film is great in this film. We had Christoph Waltz in the film. He's great in this film. Jesse Eisenberg plays this robot in the film that the tribe of Minions join in the film because there is a subplot with the other Minions still looking for the evil boss because this is still in the period where the Minions are looking for their evil boss. And I thought Jesse Eisenberg had some funny moments in the film. Trey Parker, as well as this little green alien that the main three has tumbled upon. I thought Trey Parker is adorable in this film. I didn't even know that was Trey Parker until the credits came along. I'm like, alright, Trey Parker in a different character in another Despicable Me movie. That's awesome, and I thought Trey Parker was great. And I also think the animation itself looked fantastic in this film. The setting of 1920s Hollywood looked really good in animation form. This is definitely the best animation I see Illumination done in a long time. And this is definitely the funniest I've seen the Minions movies that I've seen in a very long time. Because, like I said, with the 1920s Hollywood, I think the humor of slapstick makes so much sense in that period. Which creates some really clever jokes in this film for kids, but also some for adults. There are some dark jokes in this movie that I was really surprised it went that direction. There was like one joke where I'm just like, oh shit, they actually went that far in a Minions movie? Wow, okay. Gotta give props to this movie. But I can really tell that this movie is made within passion. They really did try their best with this movie. It doesn't feel like a cash grab. It felt like it had a story to tell. And I was really rooting for the Minions in the film. And I was rooting for the setting and the world this movie is presenting. I think the first act in this film, with the 1920s Hollywood aspect, is great. I was really enjoying this film throughout it. Only problem with the film is the second to third act where the monsters come into place. Now, I'm not saying the second and third act is bad. I still had a lot of fun with it. I still think it's enjoyable. It's just, in my opinion, not as strong as the first act of the film. But throughout the entire film, I was enjoying this film throughout it. But yeah, second to third act, I'm just like, okay. It kind of dies down just a little bit because of the monsters aspect of the film, but it makes sense why it's in the movie because, of course, James wanted to make his own movie, so it makes sense why that's in the film, of course. But it's just not as strong, in my opinion, as the first act here. But that's all I'm going to say, guys. I'm really happy that I actually really enjoyed a Minions movie, because I feel like this movie is one of those movies that I felt like kids will really enjoy, especially with the filmmaking aspects. It will make them kind of learn the history back in the day where 1920s filmmaking is a huge thing. And I can see kids walking out of this film going, you know what, I want to make a movie after watching this film. So if this film does that, I think it does a really good job. I know if I was a kid, I would adore Minions and Monsters because of the filmmaking aspect. And also, I thought the story of the film was really enjoyable. So overall, guys, I'm really surprised about Minions and Monsters. This is definitely one of the biggest surprises of the year. This is definitely the best Minions movie that I have seen in its entire franchise. I thought the Minions are really awesome in this film. The main three Minions, James, Henry, and Ed, I really like these characters in the film, especially James. I understand his creativity, and you really root for James throughout the entire film. It has that underdog story feel to him. The rest of the cast, from Christoph, Waltz, Jesse Eisenberg, Zoey, Deutch, Jeff Bridges even has a small role in this film. Awesome. Trey Parker is also really good in the film. The comedy in this film works to me. The animation works. There are some fun nods to filmmaking and film to all film fans out there. This is definitely a love letter to 1920s Hollywood, but it just happens to be in a Minions movie, and I thought this movie works 100% well in my personal opinion. So absolutely, kids, families, definitely go check out Minions and Monsters. I cannot believe that I really enjoyed a Minions movie. I gotta say, for Minions and Monsters, go see this film on the big screen. This is kind of like this year's Puss in Boots Last Wish for me, where I'm like, I'm not expecting this movie to be good, but man, it turns out way better than I thought it was going to be. I had a fun time with Minions and Monsters. Man, I would say animated films this year so far has been actually great. I enjoyed Goat, I enjoyed Hoppers, I especially enjoyed Toy Story 5, and now I enjoyed a Minions movie. What a good year for animation. So guys, that is my review for Minions and Monsters. Let me know what you think of this film in the comments below. Do you like the film, hate the film, or you thought it's okay? And also, what is your favorite classical film? Let me know that also in the comments below, because this movie tackles on that period. Make sure you guys follow me on social media links down below. Keep contact with me, and make sure you guys subscribe to my channel. Notify for my latest movie reviews and other movie related content. Thank you guys so much for watching, and where are you? There you are. Have a nice day.